it. So I feel like when we were projecting our escalation that we were within that 10% that we had projected. And actually, there's an article in the Aspen Times from last week that kind of talks about that school passed a bond, I think $100 million, and they're battling cost escalation right now and aren't able to deliver everything that they said that they would. So we are not in that situation, which is great news, that we can keep moving forward, delivering what we said we would during the campaign and the voting, but not every school district in the state is in the same situation. So I think overall, we're in pretty decent shape. And the way we're gonna do this is the executive committee members are gonna vote. Hopefully you have a smartphone handy.
Back up.
Yeah.
So when that, they're saying they can't deliver what they promised, or what happened?
I think anyone in this room is involved in
it. But we could. So
yeah.
Like, what's the template? What happens?
I don't know. I've never been part of that. I don't know that anybody in the room's been part of something like that, but I think you just start to cut scope. So maybe you were going to build an early childhood center with 20 classrooms and you can only build one with 10 classrooms because you're going to have to phase that in at a future date. They have a lot of staff housing as part of that bond program. Maybe they're not going to purchase as many units in Aspen that they wanted to originally when they told their voters. So yeah, it's usually a scope cut situation. I think they got a slow start. They actually passed their bond in 2020, and they didn't, my understanding is they didn't move quickly, which now with our cost market. Yeah. Exactly. I don't think they've gotten to a GMP on anything. I don't know. That's at least what the article said. Evan was the one who mentioned it to me last week, so not sure what their delivery method was. Sure. So hopefully everybody, if you're on the exec comm, oh, Will just joined. Hey, Will. Leave your smartphone in front of you. The process today to kind of get us to narrow our list is that first you're going to go through a survey on your phone for the items, and we're going to go through them one by one, so you don't have to decide. If you feel like you want to decide after we talk about each one, that's fine, or we can wait till the end. But it's basically, yes, I want to discuss this further for this cost-cutting item, or no, this is completely off the table for me. Because generally, the design team and the contracting team, we're coming up with ideas. Some of them are somewhat drastic, and sometimes executive committees are just like, nope, we reject that right now. So that's going to go off the table if we get a majority off the table with certain items. Off the table that we're not going to accept the deduct. So you want the balcony to stay. You would say, no, that's off the table because I don't want to cut the balcony. So your answer is no. And we'll go through this again. Yeah. If you want to keep it on the menu, you say yes. Right now, it's no. Hi, Diana just joined. Correct. So it's a yes or no, but it doesn't mean they're accepted. It means we're going to forward them to further discussion, and then you all are going to rank whatever's left on the list. That's kind of the best way we thought about doing this.
It doesn't mean it's cut. It's just
correct.
You get to that place in the road, then
so it's kind of right now eliminating the things that you all know, like absolutely no, we don't want to consider this any further. And then we'll talk about the things that kind of move forward. So I think, do we have everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have everybody. So there's 12 of you that will be voting on this. So it's kind of the best process. Executive committee members don't always have 12 people. Usually it's a much smaller group. So this is kind of the best way to like understand where is everybody at. I'd say if there are 6 votes, if it ties, then we move it forward for further discussion. But if it's less than 6 votes that you want to take the deduct, then we'll probably take it off the table. So 50% moves it forward. Great question. This is somewhat a just in case. There's not a lot of,
But I got a feeling that once you have that, feel more comfortable. I'm trying to remember in some of the comments. So my question is, I feel today like we're putting the cart in front of the horse. If we know that that is such a crucial bid, and we make a decision today and say, well, let's cut, and then you do that bid and you come back and say, good news. Can we come, I mean, what you said is we can't come back and revisit these decisions. I think that's really. that
yeah,
puts us in a real-
unfortunately, Tom, and I get that, but we're working against the clock and escalation. So if we have to stop something for the design, because the design team's not going to know how to get us to their construction documents, which is going to get us to that GMP date faster because they have a deadline to meet. But if we say today we want to wait a week or we want to wait 2 weeks, it's going to make the design team have to wait a week or wait 2 weeks
Normal process.
to go through VE at this point and ideas of value engineering. Yes.
Before you really know the whole
Yes.
scope of it, you cut, and then maybe.
So building on that, as we make these big decisions, it sounds like to save 3.2 million. Is that about-
The total menu, I didn't add it all up, but.
So did we, as we went through, are we also kind of filtering what impacts vision, culture, programming as opposed to aesthetics? Like, did we
Oh.
put that qualifier? I know we processed some of this last week, but like, what are kind of, it looks nice versus this is going to impact the school program vision?
Yeah, we'll talk about that one by one. So certainly ask those questions of the design team or bring your ideas on from your role. Yeah, that's fine.
I can't speak for other people.
I will make that bigger.
Am I the only one? No, I'm the only one. That's it.
Oh, fuzzy on this. And we'll go through them one by one, but we've got this list here. Sorry. It'll be more clear. That's a little bit fuzzy. But we talked about some changes to the exterior with brick for metal. We talked about deleting the outdoor art plaza wall, downsizing the canopy at the bus entrance, sawtooth wall at the main gym, outdoor seating, reducing it by 50% or just completely eliminating it. And this is the built-in seating. Eliminating the third floor pop-outs, deleting the auditorium balcony, and then the lower bookcliff element roofs, bringing those down and then adding solar tubes instead of the windows as part of those. With that.
But I guess I have a question about the balcony. We talked about that a little bit last time, and then we had graduations and other stuff, and so we're kind of paused, but start with the balcony and why that was. That has been an important. Question.
Yeah, and we haven't gone through these yet in like depth, Diana, so we'll do that today so we can talk more about that. I think overall, the design team and the programming, that was always kind of part of the inclusion, was that to keep it as close to the same amount of seating as it currently has into the new design. It just came up, again, we always throw things out there that are like, okay, if we really were desperate and needed to bring money in, where are places we could look? And that was just one thing that made the list. but we can talk about that further, definitely. So if you have your smartphone and want to point it at QR code to get the Mentimeter, I think is the name of it, you'll get the survey on your phone. It did work from where you're sitting. You might have to zoom in. If it doesn't work, let me know because there's a other way to get there.
Got it. Go to your camera and then. Well done.
Is our path
Sorry, everybody's on. We don't need to vote. I just wanted you all to be able to have this as we talk through them because you might make up your decision. You can vote whenever, but they're in order. Does everybody have it? Hey, for QR codes. First time I've ever used a QR code in anything.
Good job.
Can you pull the,
Yeah. Oh, yes, Brian, I can send you. Brian, go to menti, MENTI.com, down at the bottom of this slide. Okay, so this is the first. This is on the table or off the table. Okay, first one here is trading out some of the, and my circles might not be perfect, or these are the circles that we had last week. So JD, please speak up on where the locations would be, but it would essentially be taking out some of the brick and replacing with metal. And not sure if Greg or JD, you want to talk to that
Yeah.
any further at this.
It's just mainly on the east side of the gym. So not these prominent locations, but more along the alley. So kind of along Tiger Plaza and then wrapping the east side. On the second and third floors. Yep.
Oh. Oh, that's Greg. Okay. Sorry, Greg, I moved my screen. You can draw on it though.
That'll hold up as well as brick.
Rick is
it's on what side of the building?
the east side. Mostly the east side. But as we kind of discussed last time, you know, we always try to go for masonry. It seems to be the most durable, long-lasting.
Are we in the discussion?
Yeah.
I guess I would have a question for Eric. It's one of the things that we've tried to move forward with, you know, buildings that hold up, not buy into things. You know, standardization of heating, those kinds of. I guess the question I would have for you, if we know that metal may not have the same lifespan as brick, what are your thoughts? I mean, then in the department has to go deal with those issues.
Tom, I believe that they're talking about some metal products that are probably a 75-year lifespan. On a barn or a lightweight roof. What we put on building over there, I'm not an architect in the room, but I think my ground contact that. Frankly, I think we're talking about most of this stuff. Or to keep it in the discretion myself.
Yeah. number one, what kind of product is the rest of this, the orange spray? Product is that? We've already got a significant amount of metal panel in it.
Here, I panicked. There's a lot of stakes here, there's skills involved, I panicked, right? I would say this is been something has to go. Talking to Peter, who's what he was saying, and all that, he says, it's really the back. It's something that take off, it would back of it and would not have that aesthetic, that cultural, all these things we talk about effect. And I'm like, right, we do it. And that was one that has to come to you. I thought, design which one has the least? You said, you know what, metal on the back. So, I mean, that's 300,000 that one could say, all right.
On your life, what kind of business is
Well, I haven't seen a product, but what we've applied at the last couple of schools is a zero maintenance type. It's kind of a natural aging, it's not a rust, but it's, galvanized. What I understand, but Orchard Base and R5, when we went with panels that are a heavy gauge, they're so I don't know what you have in mind though. Or it's been, it's free.
get around the edges, where there's, that kind of thing. Still all enclosed and.
I'm trying to stay with the masonry on an 8-foot or 10-foot or that.
Everywhere I see grid up on masonry around it. I'm all about metal. Not that I want them to like grease it and pick it up, but I.
You don't want a Teflon finish.
Oh, Lord, no.
Okay. Any other questions on this one? Okay. Next one is the outdoor art plaza wall. JD, could you refresh our memory on this one?
Sure. So this is to remove, we had some metal panels, I guess, screening the wall at some different angles. So I think this was, correct me if I'm right, it would go back to just a single wall of some sort. I think we saw it could be a CMU, or we were proposing potentially like a green screen with some ivy to screen that area.
Programmatically, was this driven by aesthetics or was this driven by program? A little bit of both. Other areas in North America, all there or not. But it provides isolating the space. So a chain link fence could do this. No, but I'm saying, if it's programmatic, we're trying to protect student work, and we have a choice between an $80,000 wall or a chain link fence. I mean, that's why I asked the question, was it aesthetic or was it programmatic? Well, it's an honest feeling. I respect that. I'm just trying to get an understanding of the purpose of it.
What about us, I mean, I guess,
We don't raise the bar.
mentioning here. No, let's not go into raise the fire.
Yes, I have a question as well, and this one in the outdoor seating, are those things that could be, and added back as alternates a year or half down the road as your foundation elements and stuff with this, or is it more of a landscaping type issue? So I was wondering about the outdoor classroom seating. Wonder about these walls, so.
Yeah, so we take the deduct now, and then we add it on the add alternate list, and you'll give us a deadline? Not? So weird, okay. Well, does everybody agree by putting the art wall, we'll take the deduct now, but we'll add it to the add alternate list for a later decision? Okay. Guys can debate this next one, and I will try to get the website to work. This is the bus canopy downsizing for $15,000.
That north, which way is north?
Entrance.
Well, okay. And if you provide actual shade a lot of the day, or?
So what are you doing, lowering it?
Tell me, is that taken back all the way flush? Like, you
Almost.
Let you vote on the art wall
Yep,
now?
we're good.
won't even let me get. I just got okay, right now, go ahead and get rid of it.
Yeah, I think that's,
Yes, yes says.
well, I think we,
Doesn't mean it's being cut.
well, I think we are gonna cut it, but then we're gonna put it on the add alternate list, because we can add it later.
Yes, means you're okay with letting. All means is the help. Not like,
Okay, thank you.
On the top right.
Keep doing, but then it takes up.
There, that's what you gotta do. When you do that, now we can vote again. Oh. Oh, able to vote.
I think the best. Like right into, when our budget is 150. Really? But at the same time.
You never know that it had been that large. The impact comes from the. And I hate to sound rude, but I always joke, I'm not used to working with anything million. If I, as a taxpayer, see thousand by changing it. It's making some change. But all of this adds up. They allow for people down the road.
No, doesn't touch your program for anything.
Here's the top elevation of that canopy, will that line up with that white? You know, or is it on the left?
Everybody on the Zoom get a chance to vote? Are you having any technical difficulties?
That window,
So it's probably just light into the vestibule.
You must be new.
She drew it.
I defined it in. Whatever, I think was moving.
You design initially high up, is that because when you do it, it does have that power, does have that punch, it's like, it's more than walking or 8 feet, but the reason why you design it that way is to, it's to effect, correct?
Okay. Looks like everybody got a chance to vote on that one, but like it's on the discuss further.
Hey, Colleen, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? So I think those of us on here, the sound just keeps cutting in and out. We can't hear half the stuff that's being said. So can you just recap what's happened with the first 4 ones so far? Are we cutting them all?
So the first one, which was the metal panel for the brick, that's moving on to continued discussion to cut it. Second item was the art wall, and we decided that yes, we're actually going to take that deduct, but we can decide later to add it back in. And then the downside, the bus canopy, it looks like that's for further discussion as well.
Thanks.
Yep.
take a picture of that.
Oh, yep. Right. Next one is the sawtooth at the gym. It's the GJHS feature on the gym. I will forward the slide. I think everybody's pretty familiar with this feature, we did talk about it a bit last meeting. Anything the design team wants to say on this one?
I thought we were gonna see a rendering of what. The option.
Yeah, there was one on your first slide.
Why is that particular piece that expensive? Oh, for that.
Or the windows behind it. The windows not divided. Oh, cool.
It's not the same side. It's over on the other, yeah. But it would probably look something like that, right, Peter? We need windows. Right.
Indirect windows would be gone.
Revote, do not vote me.
If the window's tucked back in there, how much?
I put it on the blue guy,
Oh, okay.
so I undid
Just a
myself.
lot of indirect, it's like.
You could probably speak up if it is
When
high.
you tour, how many features? 12 features? That's the number one thing that I'm saying with their. That feel in a gym. That's part of what makes our current gym. Added around. Well, that's part of what makes it so beautiful, is like, we had a party in there on Saturday, and it just feels so welcoming. And it's not that kind of bright, direct sun that you get in normal windows. Up the space and because the sun's glaring in your eyes. What direction does this face? Well, you're not gonna get a lot of people. No, the window to the east, you don't want it to go, yeah, the window space to east, you want the light to come in directly, so it lights up the whole.
You know,
It looks expensive. Is there any way to get the light without?
I feel like there's a
I
split
don't know, like, how
drive.
much higher are they than the roof? Not enough to be able to bring that in a little bit, size wise, scale it down.
The lower the negative, you have to.
Oh, okay.
Eight of you voted. We've got it. Ted. Yeah, and the one blue has told me that they messed up and they were actually a no.
I switched from blue to pink, so.
We're 8-1, and we were saying if there was 6-6, that would advance it. Since we have 8 no's, and this is probably off the table, if everybody's okay with that.
so anything over 6.
Now 9, yeah. Anything over 6 would either advance or end. Okay. Not need to redesign. No. Probably the hardest meeting we're gonna have. Okay,
The hardest one?
yeah. Their hardest meeting. It always is. Just because it's like a lot to decide on, and nobody has a crystal ball to know how it's all gonna shake out, right? So. The sawtooth.
No.
Oh, this.
Meeting wall.
Yeah, I think somebody already said that. Yeah, thanks, Kelly.
So that's
The
a
outdoor
6.
seating could be out and back.
Okay. So is that what everybody wants to do?
No, it appears to me that as we keep adding alternates, at some point, prioritize.
That's right.
alternates, add alternates.
But we don't have to do that until we have our GMP.
We decided the 92 and the 46.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, can you
Oh.
cover all of it?
I would say, okay,
92.
92.
I would just tell you from what I would expect is that if we pull it all off, we're gonna put some of it back. And whether we put half of it back or a third of it, I mean, they gave us two options here, but it could be, and the other thing with the outdoor seating, I think have some time to look at other design features maybe than what's in here now. So
No,
I'm confident some of this will come back.
It's one of mine, I also would say, no. Priority on that list,
Yeah.
one in the list, that was good, I just lost that one.
Right.
Yeah.
The question is, does it?
I want to ask a question too. By providing organized specific seating, does that help with student supervision rather than have kids just I mean, this should be a real benefit to student supervision too, if you build it and congregate when you build it, rather than just have it dispersed across the.
I'm not sure where the floor level.
I think you need that outdoor seating, and you know what, through the COVID years, couldn't find enough things, we had schools putting stumps out there for classes. It was really an important feature, so I don't envision doing away with that, but I think it's a piece of money we can set aside. It doesn't hold up our design team. If we design this now and get bids in here, and then we go in and start cutting stuff down the road, I think we have, just from my perspective, I think we have more flexibility with how much we add back and what we add back. And I would ask our contractor to maybe bring in it all out knowing we were gonna want something back.
Working. When are you on, Andrea?
I am on,
Mhm.
yes,
Oh, got all
that's
kinds of
further.
stuff.
Are you on this question?
Nope, can't get to it.
Which question are you on?
Trying to refresh it. All outdoor seating wall. Now it's showing me I go to the next slide. Now I'm back to the bus canopy.
I'm just flipping
Okay.
through, okay. So here's the all, I think, yes, we're gonna move it into add alternate, right? Take the 92,000 that today, okay. Okay, the pop-outs are next. I think Danny had a couple questions on this.
New square footage of classrooms.
Out at the monument.
Would we keep the window
No, it's
and
for a natural resource.
the treatment around it? It just wouldn't come out, but we'd have the same exterior finish and then. Yeah. Trying to get something. That's fine. I was just trying to understand. Because I mean, the color and, I mean, now, the piece that pops out beyond the exterior wall, that would be gone as well, right?
The booklet elements or the windows, the horizontal or the
The
vertical?
window. But you see that window
Yeah.
extends a little past that wall, so that would be flush with the wall more than likely.
That whole color.
Struggle with these, I think it's what sets the building apart. You're spending a lot, and don't waste 24 grand, but natural science class, it's got a better window, it's more personalized learning experience. I can cubby up and look at the mountains. So over.
Got 3 people who haven't voted yet. Anybody having a hard time getting their vote in? And already have gone to,
protocol? Are we supposed to vote then talk? I didn't know.
No,
Okay.
it's, you mean however you want.
Okay. One-
We're rejecting this, deduct, it looks like.
Can I just emphasize that I don't think students want like to hide the campus. I have a class up in that room. Possibly.
I think too, an aesthetic point of view, we kept the sawtooth one, I mean, start deleting too much on the outside of the building, it's look like a furniture warehouse.
It won't look quite that way.
I think that
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know,
A really expensive one, so.
That's the regional, so they said, oh, what school is that? Thank God we don't own that.
I know Dr. Hill has a hard stop for an awards ceremony today, so, this is kind of our biggest one on the table. Again, it was just trying to come up with ideas of places where things could be reduced. Doesn't have to be, but this was to take that balcony out. It reduces seating from what to what?
30%.
Oh, yeah, I will.
It went from 1,500 to like 900.
That, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think 1470.
One place in the.
Any numbers?
Use the math and what's. Now we have clinics for. I don't want to that going. We need about 12 years to actually the whole. So we went through and looked at, sometimes a year it'll be full capacity, and 70. And looked at the fact that, and it's COVID, on it, those numbers that take out, as that 40 of the musicals we hold and get. We have the entire, every time we do a discussion, 900, there's no way we can get our full, that would be. Unique piece that gather all one of the things. Those are those things, but the schooling, the actual filling it up, you know, you might say, okay, then people will know. Now, not that you like a lot of times it's 900 or it's 1,000, but pull out 1,500. Definitely more. Just for the school related, that wasn't when 30 years when Symphony had it. 25 years they only were there. We're going to entertain probably coming back with your suggestion of let's renegotiate because you have the crown jewel now. So the question would be, okay, let's come up with something pragmatic, something that renegotiates and say, if you want the hottest place between Denver and Salt Lake, you got to pay, or it's got to be reasonable. It's got to be something. That was being creative, I thought, on.
You know, the other thing too is the parking. There, you go to the theater at CMU, where are you parking? You go downtown to the Avalon, where are you parking? Go to Grand Junction, the new Grand Junction High School building, you're gonna be able to park.
How many parking places does it have?
But
Parking, that's great.
What's the school function? I don't understand. That can't be done at the gym. Correct? Yeah, I mean, I'm not as comfortable, but it's the rare time that you, how often do you have to get a whole gang together? How many times a year would you say, are you gonna use it for that kind of thing? And then what, but I mean, so. For an hour, 4 times, or is it? I think, isn't the school that setting up? Always 15, like that, not quite.
14,
Yeah. So we need it. I think it works still with the full team body metal.
So we're 33, still some kids absent.
Right, so. That's a good point. So what about, what other things are used for that you're talking about getting an over? All of our work ceremonies are, have. Yeah, academic awards, first semester. It's gonna be the plays and the concerts. All preview concerts. And then there's always like the guest speaker. Not seat the entire 16. So it gives us that flexibility. I will say, like, can we all fit in the gym? Sometimes there's a tone. That's what students. And I just, you know, I get to the point where like. I get nervous because if we cut it, we can't get it back. If we cut it, I think we're. So my next question would be, how much does this auditorium cost? Anyway. What's the total cost for the auditorium in the first place, regardless of if we add $1 million? Taxpayers' money are we spending on it? The calculating that's going on in your brains right now is sort of.
But I think the broader point, we're talking about taxpayers, our taxpayers voted for this bond package that included this, whole, right? So my fear is, albeit not everybody, but people voted, there are people that voted in part for this auditorium. That's a feature they like, or they voted because the gym is gonna be a certain way, or however it is. And I think to come back and say, no, we cut that 30%. So it's short-sighted, and made a case why this facility, why this auditorium has been functional over the last years, whatever it's been, and it's kind of what has been established. I know Colleen had mentioned typically in high schools, if you're a separate unit, you would probably build it. You were talking about the auditorium, maybe that 800-900 capacity. And a unique feature in the Grand Valley and Mason County and Junction that is used by many people. And to have that option is nice, because we talk about packing kids in like sardines, and that's what we would be doing in the gym or in a short, even with this, right? With 1,500, there are going to be occasions for these. You know, it's short-sighted. Personally, to entertain the idea about cutting that, just because it was nothing else, but I think attracted people, first segment in this community to vote for this building.
Well, and like you said, I mean, I think about the number of programs that have been in there. of the family assemblies, the different, you know, like plays and different.
When you think about this exercise, at least in my mind, is we are not missioned with cutting this project down. I mean, the voters voted for the $115 million to build Grand Junction High School. Now, if we can save money, yeah, that's great. We're doing this exercise because of escalating costs. If costs were not escalating and all this other business, we wouldn't be having this discussion today because the design that came in and the original estimate said what we asked the taxpayers was what they were willing, they voted on 2 to 3 to percent to go with. So why we're doing this is not to just let's pare back what we have, it's to maybe, hopefully not storm that may hit us with these.
I think that's some of it, I don't think that's.
Yeah, the other thing too is if you look at high school, Palisade's very fortunate they have. Central has an auditorium, but they went through this exercise when they built Central years ago. They ran out of money and they had to cut everything by 30%, and because it was supposed to be exactly like Grand Junction. You look at Fruita Monument High School, they die to have a real functional for their program. We're building a comprehensive high school. Focus on a myriad of different programming needs, whether it's theater or. Well, we used to visit the old, when I was principal of Columbine downtown, that's where we had to have our Christmas.
I'm not against it. I'm really just trying to fact find because having gone through an election, you understand. I've got a huge amount of people that are asking after every single one of these meetings. They didn't want us to come in on budget for this. They wanted us to come in under. They were giving us enough where we could move and do the things that we. But I think the taxpayers would be static, not necessarily to cut the auditorium. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like more of an overall approach to this is, does it make sense out of this whole project, how many millions of dollars are going into just the auditorium already? Those people have really, if this helps with the budget, we need a lot more from any other high school ever. We need a lot more. I mean, we've got
But it also,
big things to.
that's a great point, but it also goes, if we don't deliver on what we said we would deliver, it's gonna be, even if it's, they're gonna say, well, you know, they promised us this, and that, and they cut it all out, so what's to say that won't happen again? I think we can make every effort to honor you know, listen, there was painstaking effort that went through to create the budget and the bond package that we did last summer and beyond. And I know, Peter and the architects and everything else. And you know, really looked at this, and when we got it to 115, that was my recollection of those discussions. It was like, you know, the thing we got to remember is the context which we have the context. First thing that we have to talk about is we're building a $145 million high school for 100. That's pretty amazing to go to a voter and for $115 million. Then what we have to say is we have unusual circumstances right now that had we not had the unusual circumstances now, we might have been able to save more money than we thought. But we're battling with inflation, materials. I mean, it's a whole new world. And when you listen to Colleen, a lot of her projects she's working with now, you're having to go and cut 30% out of projects. We're not having to do that because we did enough background and hard work at the beginning that we're probably in a good space. Yet I understand you want to answer people, but I think we need to also tell them we're getting a $145 million high school for $115 million. That's a pretty good value.
I disagree also a cost.
But the voters are only paying $115 million for that cost.
I understand
Well,
what they're getting for it.
wait till they build the next new one.
Yeah, well,
It'll be 200.
let's hope that things come back down a little bit. And again, just really, yes, fair about how often is ceiling higher, we've got added. It's just more overall. I don't know what the utilities go up or down based on how having that space that you've got to fill with.
You
No,
know,
I agree, but it's the same thing with the gym. How many times do we fill up the gym? How many times do we, you know, you could use that argument, every space in the, I mean, how many times is the janitor's classroom full or the janitor's closet full? Well, let's shrink it. I mean.
So my priority stays with teachers and classrooms.
But I
You
mean,
know, I mean, that's
That is my
where
classroom,
I
right?
bounce off of that. If we were talking about reducing this, reduce the number of classrooms, of square footage, but we're not. We're just talking about getting rid of it. So for me, like, when you say, I don't know what, like, I'm on the opposite end of it, trying to explain to 100 teachers, why all of a sudden, everything they've learned about education, out the window, no, that's not your classroom, it's taxpayers' classroom, you're only, okay, you're gonna have a 6 foot by 6 stuff, and you're gonna deal with it, and it's gonna be fine, and then have to say, and we're cutting things. I don't know if the community can look at the design and go, well, that's so nice, it must be the Taj Mahal. It is not. The, socialist response to,
you're running lean with your classrooms, and that's something I think.
we're running really lean already, and so like, for me, when you say, how often would it be used? Probably every time Whiteford brings in a guest speaker, all of the local things. Because we are already down to classrooms for 85 teachers. And that's, when we, like, I say, Peter has sat down with me over and over, because every time I go, I'm not sure if we can do this. Work. And the teachers come back to me and say, well, it's not gonna work. Look at how many people we have teaching. That's the schedule from this year. We're gonna have to completely I don't know if the community, but it's a large change for teachers. Drawing people in, like, oh, this new building is, all of these teachers, when the thing that they're hearing is, oh, I don't get no space. And so now it's like, don't go to Junction. In fact, vacate Junction if that's bothering you, because I struggle because side of the voting block. And I think that I always, you know, don't come into. So, like, we had, like, you're hearing one side of this, I hear from the other group that is so excited, the other voting contingency that concerts there, the symphonies went back, they feel like this is gonna make base part of the school building you're actually gonna see. All right, so this is I wouldn't say it's necessarily just a voting contingency. What I think people are rarely mixed. Political sides of it. Does it make of the or not? And if we not, then versus. But
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
is
I
fine.
think, and so I guess, you know, no matter what project you're doing, the question here is, what's the definition of giving that the, you know, theater, I mean, it's multi-purpose, so then they have to realize your taxpayer monies are not just going for one function, but for a community function across the entire, you know.
I just think the Tiffany or anybody outside the district using it should pay for it. And it doesn't sound like that happened. So I'm just
They
saying.
have, but we need to read.
But it needs, like, they need to share what's fair, not just, because the people of our community will just absorb it, although only a handful of those people will ever go see the symphony.
I just, I'm gonna be real quick. In building use, I've been blessed with being involved in that. the last,
We're cursed.
5 or 6
Ah,
Well, one of the things our board has set a policy, and we've got some board members here, where we make our district buildings as affordable and available as we can. And there's never been an effort to do more than recover the cost of, on the venue, whether that's wheel cleanup and that kind of thing. It's just covers, the building use agreement. So I think that's a philosophical change. My concern with this is I attended, in 2019 and again in 2021, the community walkthroughs of the Grand Junction High School, and in both of those, the multiple groups that come, that was always a question that came up. What about the auditorium? And we, there's in the bond language or not, I don't know, but we presented that we're putting one back like this to all of those people through those. So I think, I don't, my kids went to Central and they got a little 450 seat auditorium. Have two things in the gym that are near not as nice. So I hear that, but, I just, that's, our community members that took it on their Saturday to come walk through that building, that this is what we were gonna do. So,
that didn't include a balcony with addition.
well, 1,600 seats, yeah, but I mean the size wise. Yeah.
We, at the time, we didn't know what was happening.
The design. So I don't know, that's what kind of motivates me to feel the way I do.
It looks like we're done anyway.
It was a good
It looks like
conversation.
it's-
Danny has been waiting, folks, that's it. 12 times. Say your piece, brother.
So I think there's actually, this is a lot bigger than the 1,500 seats. We'll have the celebrations. It's gonna help the school culture, but I think also our board members, like, we're charged with having a district that serves kids well, that we're a high performing district. Dr. Circo, the last 3-4 years has said, we need to move student achievement. This has been a flat district. And there's been a lot of things put in place over the last 3 to 5 years that have done that. And Junction is the home of our Summer Institute, our professional learning. And for one, it's not ideal. This new place is going to do that. There's actually, they're at CMU this summer. CDE is pulling educators from across Colorado to CMU to talk about how kids are mastering standards, et cetera. And we can be a hub. CDE views us as a West Slope hub. And this is a place to say that this is a district and a community that's going to have a high quality education system. We can bring in national presenters and keynoters. And I think having that space 30, 40, 70 years from now, you know, $3 million today is $12 million 20 years from now, right? And so making that investment, I think we're ready to deliver on it, that this is our hub for our Summer Institute. They put up with us. We bring 900 people through there for a week every summer. We're doing it next week. We tear that place up. And so
Well, let's fix that.
I think we can leverage this space and fill it, to your point, like it shouldn't sit dormant. So, yeah.
And I just want it to be an equal value to the community, to our district, to our students, staff. I just want it to be equal value for the money.
Absolutely.
That's my question. That's the
The old that.
bottom line for my question. I'm not that one. I haven't voted.
You voted pink.
There was, I tell you that too.
That he
I don't
was
know, I think she had a blue crayon.
rejected. This is our last one, I think. This is the Book Cliff Elements. Over on the academic side, we're looking back to the west here from the east. This was taking down,
Just lowering them, or are we lowering, making them flush on top and?
Go to the next slide. Flush on top.
Just flush on top, not on the.
oh yeah, sorry.
Okay. Stairwell.
Yeah.
See those things that stick up on the roof? Football practice. Yeah.
Stairwell?
And
Are they stairwell?
Peter, these have windows here.
Those are an impact, I mean, pouring those are an impact on.
Floor doesn't have that though anyway, so.
Also, from the
How does it, okay. I've already voted, Justin. But how does it change the feeling on the inside? I don't really care about how it feels on the outside, because kids aren't gonna spend all their time at this angle looking down on their school. How does it change the feeling on the inside?
The lighting in that upper level.
That's not the height of the entire, that's just the height for those.
Those are your hallways, though. Those are your breakout hallways. for kids to learn.
That's what the project is about.
It's not under them?
Not directly.
What would be, so if the whole thing is $311,000, what would it cost to replace that with the solar tube idea? That's including that, okay, just making sure. Is this something like this $100,000?
This is structural, isn't it? Those will still remain. Part of the element is. That's a function.
To clarify, there are classrooms on either side of those, and those are basically above a hallway space. So then in those hallways, are there kind of like breakout seating areas so that with your lesser classrooms, so you're 20% less classrooms than normal, which means you gotta find new space, perhaps. So are those bigger hallways, or are they just, is that hallway really mainly just to move back and forth, or is that hallway? So these are learning spaces, secondary learning spaces.
The ones on the right-hand side that are gonna stay, that's only just for the third story.
It was. Right. Back to this point. To eliminate this group, eliminating secondary learning. The light in the secondary.
We're not eliminating the lighting.
Your impact.
We are changing the lighting source. This area, to save $300,000. I know that you don't
Wife.
Can I just use that for?
Okay, so this one's advanced to, we're keeping it on, so I think this was our last one.
Discuss it further, it's not done, right?
No, it is done. Once it's done.
That wasn't done. So we gotta tie the steel in the.
Okay, but
So we have,
then, yes, we should discuss
Yeah.
further, not
That's
just
right.
cut it.
that's right. So we narrowed the list down. We took things off into an add alternate. So we took the savings. The only two items we need direction on after we've gone through this is the first one, the metal panels, trade out for some of the brick, and then what we were just talking about.
Can we do a thumbs up on the first one?
So the last one, that is not for discussion later, that's either discussion or now, because they have to design.
For discussion now.
Like the seating
Flipping the
outside, the seating outside can be done anytime.
Yeah, so we've
That's
moved
an
that.
add-on.
Yeah.
We really have three categories: all the way cut, come back, and don't.
Right.
Ready to vote on this in the.
What we need today. Yeah. Yep. So we were just making a short list, and now we have our short list. And now we need decisions on these two items that we've shortlisted.
Just do a thumbs up.
Yeah. I had like another ranking thing, but,
What does thumbs down mean, and which one are we going on first? Keep it on
well,
the list or keep it on the plan?
no,
There is no list for those two.
We're done now.
On or off.
we've made our list. We want further discussion on the
I
two.
gotta start ordering this stuff.
Oh, Greg, I'm sorry. Are you drawing on my? We keep moving it, Greg, sorry. Hopefully-
Metal bricking,
Thumbs up or down?
You mean substitute the metal for the brick?
It's the metal, bridging the metal.
We're doing heavy metal. $300,000.
That's unanimous. Okay. We're gonna take that VE, the first one.
Unanimous. Somebody write that down.
Well, I don't know what they did on Zoom, but we're just not gonna look.
Record this on Zoom, you guys. That's the
Who do we have left?
big.
Looks like Mel, the whole group in the room took the VE to save about 300,000 on the metal panel. Okay. And now the next one is this, the light, the windows at the top, on the third floor. Another $300,000 in savings or so, these ones.
So we would take the two on the left off.
Was there a hybrid option on this, or how did? Okay.
No windows.
No, but there will be solar too. There'll be some natural light.
10-foot to 8-foot ceilings, what does it go down to? Is that what it was?
Well, it shouldn't be 8.
Then comes up and, you know,
Yeah. Other questions? Are we ready to thumbs up or thumbs down? If Melanie's the only one still on from the exec com because Dr. Hill had to drop off. So we'll get her vote. I think she was good with the last one. So if it's thumbs up, you want to take the savings of 300,000 and solar tube and get rid of these things. If it's thumbs down, you want it to look as it is. And no middles. Okay. 1, 2,
you were like,
3.
I wanna do it. 70 years from now, will we regret this?
Oh man, you guys are super close. Wait, Will has a question.
I'm gonna stay like that.
Correct. You want it to say, oh gosh. We are close.
Lingo, boom. Wait for
Four.
it. Kids are gonna love it, they're gonna learn more.
Oh, wow, I gotta like write this down. Okay, 5,
There's one just
3, 4, 5. Oh, Melanie.
Am I the tiebreaker?
The tiebreaker. It looks like it.
He's the money person, though. Oh, man. Where's it gonna go?
I think at this point, I would leave it as is.
Will sway what
Okay.
you were really feeling.
Will's been up in.
Mel, I think Mel just said as is. So,
Yay! Wise fiscal decision.
that was 6-5.
We'll go tour and we'll go watch kids learn up there when this is built. It'll be a beautiful thing. They're gonna be learning in the hallway with natural light. You're gonna see joy, SEL on their faces. Yeah, I'm transferring my kids over to Junction. Make sure they get class on the 3rd floor.
We can always, Megan gets that. What? Keeping that.
Yay.
We want to discuss it further? We're done.
Right now, you just have a word list.
That was it.
We'll prioritize.
Oh, the ad. Yeah.
Do your kids do Buddy Warner?
Mine
No, there was a Maves, and I didn't know if it was here.
do. My kids do it.
Do they?
Beaver Creek, yeah.
Okay, oh, cool, so we were at the Beaver Creek
Yeah,
race.
yeah, my boys were both made the
Okay,
team.
all right, cool. I didn't know that, cool. Good program.
Yeah, yeah, they had fun. So I think my older one actually might go into more.
Oh, good, yeah, I drove ski racing, so.
All right, everybody on the Zoom. Oh, Dr. Hill came back on. Do we need him to vote?
No. See you later, Dr. Hill.
That's how most of my day goes. Nobody cares what I say, so go for it.
No, please, does he need to?
6-5.
We trust your judgment, no matter what.
I can fill you in on that one, Brian, and if you feel really strongly.
Yeah, that's fine. Fill me in later.
Oh, Diana,
Oh, Dr. Sturko.
Diana gets 2 votes apparently.
I can't hear anything, so I don't know what was said.
Yeah, just say yes. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah. He voted on some of them, but he had to step away. You snooze, you lose, as my kids say. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, Riley. Bye, everyone.
Bye.